My name is Emily Parker, and I grew up in a small town just outside Denver, Colorado. My family wasn't perfect, but to the outside world, we looked like the typical American household: a dad who worked hard, a mom who cared for everyone, and a daughter who believed her world would never change. But one summer changed everything. Mom was offered a 2-week volunteer medical trip to Kenya, something she'd dreamed of for years. She hesitated to go because of me, but Dad encouraged her, saying he'd take care of everything while she was gone. "Go, honey," he said, smiling. "You've been waiting for this for so long. Emily and I will be fine." I remember hugging Mom at the airport, promising her I'd help around the house and keep Dad company. It sounded simple enough, until the unexpected happened. The first week, a quiet house. At first, everything felt normal. Dad and I would eat dinner together, talk about school, and sometimes watch old movies in the living room. He wasn't the overly emotional type, but I could tell he missed Mom. One evening, as we were eating spaghetti, Dad said, "You know, Em, your mom always keeps this house running. I never realized how much she does." I laughed. "Yeah, she's kind of the superhero around here." He smiled, then sighed. "Guess we both have to step up while she's gone." It was small moments like that which made me appreciate him more. He wasn't the talkative kind, but he tried. The storm night. A few days later, a huge thunderstorm hit Denver. The power went out, and I could hear branches scratching against my window. I was scared, even though I was 18, I've never liked storms. Dad knocked on my door. "You okay, kiddo?" he asked, holding a flashlight. "Yeah. Just a little freaked out," I admitted. He smiled gently. "Come downstairs. I've got candles in the kitchen." We ended up sitting in the living room, talking while lightning flashed outside. He told me stories about when he was my age, about getting lost in the mountains with his friends and how Grandma used to yell at him for muddy shoes. We laughed until the storm finally passed. I'll never forget that night. It was the first time I saw my dad as more than just a parent. He was human, funny, awkward, and kind. The second week, trouble begins. The next week, Dad started acting different. He was quieter, distracted, and barely touched his meals. I'd find him sitting on the porch, staring at the mountains. "Dad, you okay?" I asked one morning as he poured his 3rd cup of coffee. He gave me a tired smile. "Just work stuff, Em. Don't worry." But I did worry. Something felt off. Then, on Wednesday, I found a letter in the mail addressed to him, from the hospital where Mom volunteered. It wasn't sealed properly, and curiosity got the best of me. It read, "Greater than, Dear Mr. Parker, we regret to inform you that due to unforeseen medical complications, your wife's return may be delayed another 2 weeks." I froze. 2 more weeks. When Dad came home that evening, I didn't know how to tell him. I left the letter on the kitchen counter. He saw it immediately, sighed heavily, and said, "She called earlier. I didn't want to tell you until I was sure." He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. "Dad, are you okay?" He sat down, running a hand through his hair. "I'm fine, Emily. Just trying to keep things together." I realized in that moment how much pressure he was under: work, the house, missing Mom. The breakdown. A few nights later, I woke up to the sound of something breaking downstairs. I rushed down and found Dad sitting on the kitchen floor, a broken glass beside him. He wasn't drunk, just overwhelmed. "Dad." I ran over. "What happened?" He looked up, eyes red. "I'm sorry, Em. I can't do this without your Mom. I feel like everything's falling apart." It was strange. I'd never seen him like that. My dad was the rock of our family, and now he was crumbling. I sat beside him, holding his hand. "Dad, you've done so much already. It's okay to miss her. We'll get through this together." He nodded slowly. "You've grown up so much, you know that. You remind me of your Mom when she was your age. Strong, calm, and patient." We talked for hours that night, about life, about fear, about love. By the time he fell asleep on the couch, I covered him with a blanket and went to bed, realizing that even parents need their children sometimes. Mom's return. When Mom finally returned, everything changed again. The house lit up with her laughter, and Dad seemed to breathe again. She hugged me tight, whispering, "I missed you both so much." But I noticed something else. She and Dad talked more, laughed more, and spent time together like newlyweds. Maybe that time apart had reminded them how much they needed each other. Later that week, as Mom cooked dinner, Dad looked at me and said softly, "Thank you, Emily, for taking care of things. I don't know what I would have done without you." It wasn't just a thank you, it was a moment of deep understanding between a father and daughter who had gone through a silent storm together. What I learned. That summer taught me something I'll never forget. Parents are human too. They break, they cry, and sometimes, they just need someone to remind them that everything will be okay. And as for me, I realized that strength doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from showing up for the people you love, even when you're scared. Now, years later, whenever I hear thunder outside, I remember that night with Dad, 2 candles flickering, laughter in the dark, and the unspoken promise that family always finds its way back to light.